In the headlines to the CBC NewsNight, a possible shortage of a popular fish and marine insurance among concerns raised by the Fisherfolk organisation.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening and welcome to this edition of the CBC NewsNight. I'm Wendy Burke. Almost 3 weeks after Hurricane Beryl devastated Caribbean island, Barbados continues to provide transport aid and personnel to those hardest hit. Lieutenant Coast Guard Jamal Crick spoke to CBC News in Carriacou on Friday.
On this voyage, we would have went to mainland St. Vincent, Union Island, as well as Carriacou, where we currently are at this time. As you can see, the Barbados Coast Guard and the general public of Barbados is still providing aid to these member states which were impacted by Hurricane Beryl on the 1st of July. Here today, we would have brought some water. We also have some feminine hygiene products, soaps, Pampers. There's also some food stuff as well that we would have brought from Barbados to the 3 member states.
And we'll return now to that story concerning the local Fisherfolk organization.
After the onslaught of Hurricane Beryl on marine vessels in Barbados, fisherfolk are facing a rough time, as most fishers do not have viable boats to go fishing.
I don't want to use the word suffering, especially at this time, but I know that it's going to be more difficult than it is.
That's Vernal Nichols, president of Barnufo, the Barbados National Union of Fisherfolk Organizations, and a fish vendor at the Bridgetown Fisheries Complex.
What we are doing right now is selling what we have.
And what they have mainly is frozen flying fish and some other species. It could be just a matter of weeks before the fish on ice begin to run out.
Especially the flying fish, as I said, that is the main species that we keep in storage, and I believe that maybe in the next 3 weeks we may not have those on the market.
At least one vendor at the complex seems confident that some frozen fish, besides flying fish, could last until the start of the peak season in November.
That would be marlin, billfish, swordfish, sailfish. You will get frozen dolphins, but no, nothing fresh.
Ms. Nichols says the plight of the boat owners is even more concerning.
You know, the damage to the boats and what has happened to them isn't something that they can easily push aside and not think about.
For Ms. Nichols, the biggest lesson from Hurricane Beryl is that the fishing industry ought never to take nature for granted.
We will be looking at things like the insurance and those things that we now have to look at more carefully.
Stacey Russell, CBC News.
The Anglican diocese is celebrating its 200th anniversary in Barbados. During a service to mark the occasion, the church was encouraged to be proud of its achievements and to continue being of service to the community. Our reporter Akeem Klinkett tells us more.
A gathering of some of the island's most prominent people, reverends from around the island, and even some visiting, in addition to Anglicans from all walks of life. They have all come for a service to celebrate the 200th anniversary of the Anglican Diocese of Barbados. They filled the Garfield Sobers complex for the momentous occasion. Delivering the sermon is the 11th Bishop of the diocese, the Most Reverend Drexel Gomez. He says the church has been at the forefront of many of the important political, social, and economic issues throughout its history, and he is proud to say it has stood strong through its existence.
From the exponential planting of churches under Bishop Coleridge and the progressive reforms in education and relief of the poor under Bishop Mitchinson, and the racial barrier-breaking initiatives of Bishop Bree, and all the way to the ordination of women under Bishop Broom, and the eventual separation of church and state with the Anglican Church Act of 1969. The Diocese of Barbados has made valiant efforts to carry out the mission of Christ in the struggle against racism classism, social and economic inequality, political domination, and human immorality.
Meanwhile, current Anglican Bishop of Barbados, Michael Maxwell, says the church plans to continue to not only be missional and unified, but also available to help in any way for the betterment of Barbados.
We intend to be a more, this might be a challenging word, a more unified, missional, and resilient church that continues to stand but not stand still.
The celebration of the diocese will continue throughout the year and culminate in June 2025. Akeem Plinkett, CBC News.
The results of this year's Sunshine Snacks Junior Kadooment are back. And Northern Mass, led by Randolph Woodruff, has taken the lion's share of prizes for yesterday's parade. Rianne Phillips caught up with the winning team and filed this report.
Northern Mass, led by Randolph Woodruff, is in celebration mode after bagging several prizes from the 2024 Sunshine Snacks Junior Kadooment. Woodruff has won the Best Junior Band, the Robert Weeks Award for Festival Designer of Junior Kadooment, and the BMA Brands of Barbados Award. His production also caught the Junior King and Queen, first in the folklore section, and the individuals 13 to 18 and 8 to 12.
Me heading home slowly but surely. Have my emotional moment, but hitting the home. Probably when I get up tomorrow morning, I realize that it's reality. Because normally I don't be checking for what I win.
This is the first major win for the Northern Mass Band, which started back in 2013. However, Woody, as he is affectionately known, has been involved in the festival since the 80s.
I had a good idea that the band would have done good. Because, as I said, working over the years and improving my skills in the bending, and when I put up the last year, I put up 4 structures and they won. This year, included 2 more structures, and I know when I look at it, they would have won. I had doubt with one, but that won. And it surprised me. I really surprised. When I look at the results they get, I'm really surprised. That was Sir Clem Elegance.
The win is also special for his production team, especially seamstress Lisa Gonzalez, as this is her first year working on Junior Kadooment costumes.
After sleepless nights and dealing with parents individually, because most parents wanted their costumes customized. So even though we had like small, medium, large, some parents would say, listen, I want my child costume make like this, so it was kind of hectic, but I enjoyed the whole process.
The Northern Mass team also took the opportunity to give back to Clement Armstrong, who is one of their original supporters and one of the icons they paid tribute to yesterday.
Yesterday, tears came to me when I saw on stage. I always late, because when I decided to turn on TV, somebody had to go on YouTube and bring it back to me on my phone to see it. I was very impressed, and I even went on Facebook and thanked him straight away.
While they will continue to savor this victory, the team has already started planning for Crop Over 2025. Rianne Phillips, CBC News.
The United Nations Children's Fund children's rights advocate Faith Marshall-Harris is reminding doctors that they have a mandatory obligation to report any instances of child abuse to the Director of the Child Protection Authority. Ms. Marshall-Harris says medical practitioners usually report such instances of abuse even if they only suspected the nefarious act. She says thereafter, a doctor's responsibility continues through to administering treatment or becoming an expert witness in court matters as they are duty bearers. She was speaking during her presentation on the Child Protection Act at a Barbados Association of Medical Practitioners conference at the Courtyard by Marriott.
You are mandated to report abuse, but the investigation into that abuse will be conducted by the Director of the Protection Authorities. The doctors always observed the abuse, reported it, checked it out, want to know what's going on. Always. They have always been the main reporters of abuse, whereas other persons might turn a blind eye, doctors do not. So we have always had a regime that doctors were our best reporters.
Tomorrow, just around 3,000 young people will start their first day at national summer camps across the island. And ahead of the launch, Youth Minister Charles Griffith and his team visited the Power of Blood Assembly to worship. The minister told the congregation the camps will be executed with a difference this year.
We have now moved from the lollies, sticks, and tie-dye within the camp system. It can no longer obtain for our young people. And as the Minister of Youth, I cringe every time that I see someone less than 19 years old fallen as a result of crime. And if we can use the WhatsApp system in terms of how we treat to the camps this year, we are expecting that we will see more and more young people in this country on the road to Damascus, as opposed to turning right where those few are going.
Minister Griffith explains what he means by the reference to the popular app WhatsApp.
This year, we are running camps by WhatsApp. What do I mean? From tomorrow, we will be hitting the settings and we'll be hitting reset in the lives of those 300 young persons. It is our aim, it is our pledge to ensure that at the end of 5 weeks, that when we hit that reset, that private screen that was dark, that we're able to brighten. That the friends that are negative, they're able to do one or two things: archive them or delete them.
Sports time, good evening, I'm Damien Best. Well, the West Indies suffered a major batting collapse in their second innings to lose the second test against England inside 4 days, resuming their second innings this morning at Trent Bridge on 248 for 3. England were dismissed for 425, with Joe Root making 122 and Harry Brook 102. Jaden Seals took 4 for 97. While set 385 for victory, the Windies were bowled out for 143 to lose by 241 runs. Better news, Barbados captured the CWI Rising Stars men's under-19 two-day championship title over Jamaica in a drawn final at Arnesville in St. Vincent today, resuming their first innings on 72 for 2 in reply to Barbados under-19's first innings of 200 for 9 declared. Jamaica under-19s were forced to declare on 127 for 8 to save time and force an outright result. However, Barbados batted the rest of the day to end on 172 for 2, thus winning the title by virtue of first innings points. Yeah, congrats once again to the Barbados team. Well, Kevin Wickham, he slammed a half-century to help Empire secure a 111-run victory over UWI in the BCA Super Cup competition today. Playing at Bank Hall, Empire racked up 248 for 9, led by Wickham with 54. Empire batting first against UWI. Cheyenne Brathwaite and Kevin Wickham started brightly. Brathwaite just easing this one through the covers on this 3s and 4s ground. Stoke's stint was brief as he made 12. Here he is clearing the wall at Wylong off. Then Brathwaite the very next over, wheeling his bat like a sword, add 3 more. Stoke's wicket fell with the score on 33. He was caught behind by Demario Richards off the bowling of Amari Goodrich in the 8th over. Hakeem Perryman came in and asserted himself, pulling in front of square with success. Then he was quickly onto the bat for a few deliveries later and pulling again with disdain, keeping the numbers moving. Brathwaite was seeing it big too, another mighty blow, pushing the score up to 95. UE needing a wicket would get the breakthrough. Brathwaite giving Johan Jeremiah catching practice on his way for 34, 95 for 2. Wicket to Johan Lane. Lane would take another scout. Perryman picks up Shakir Paris on the boundary. He will not drop that. Perryman goes for 44, 111 for 3. Kevin Wickham was in at number 4 and targets down the ground immediately, 3 runs. Shakir Cumberbatch clobbered a few 3s in his 16 runs. Then he got one that kept low to be bowled by Romario Graves, 139 for 4 in the 30th over. Wickham took over proceedings, depositing a couple 4s into the neighborhood. The fielders were kept busy retrieving, finds the mid-wicket boundary. He needed a partner though. Kamari Boyce, brief visit, caught at long off, by Jeremiah for 13, 168 for 5. The shot of the morning taken from the classic section of the batting manual. Beauty from Wickham. Then the modern day text, the reverse sweep, just as effective. Wickham would reach 50 with the identical stroke, splits the fielders. Superb. Empire in a healthy position, well played. And he would add 4 more runs before being bowled, leg stump by Goodrich as Empire went on to post 248 for 9 off their 50 overs. Well, UWI were bowled out for 137 in response in 29.1 overs. Jamel Warrican snapped up 5 for 13. Results in the other matches at Bayfield, St. Catherine 133, Carlton 135 for 3 to win by 7 wickets. At Waterford A, BCA Youth 142, Police 144 for 8 to win by 2 wickets. At the SJPI ground, YMPC 166, Wildy 167 for 7 to win by 3 wickets. At Rice's, Pickwick 254 for 9, Guardiola 170 to lose by 83 runs. At Queen's Park, Isolation Cavaliers 122, Spartan 125 for 3 to win by 7 wickets. At Dells Road, Windward 86, Wanderers 88 for 2 in 26.4 overs to win by 8 wickets. At Paragon, Maple 124 for 6, BDF set a revised target of 139 in 30 overs, made 129 for 9 to lose by 10 runs via the DLS method. And at Friendship, Yorkshire won by default over Lords.
That's our news. Have a good evening.